Hello to everyone of the sign of Leo. This is Zaida Velgara here from Becoming I Am, here to give you a reading for July 2026. I hope you enjoy. So, for all of you guys that are newcomers, I swear all the words just wanted to come out. All you guys that are newcomers to this channel, let me explain how the rundown goes. First, I only do one reading for the zodiac signs a month. I think that's really what we need. I actually do two. If you know Spanish, there's a Spanish version. And then secondly, I usually pick from 3 to 4 astrological events of the month. Then I pull cards, tarot, sometimes charms. I use oracle decks to kind of let you know how this specific energy is going to affect you. Because in my belief, people really are just reading the astrology and how it's going to affect you based on their interpretation, on their healing, and on their knowledge and understanding. So that being said, let's talk about the first event. That would be next week. I think it's about Tuesday. That's July 7th. Neptune is in Aries and it will go retrograde. This retrograde will be active until about the 20th of December. Why is this important? Because the last time this happened, it was during the United States Civil War. I'm not saying you're in the United States, but it tells you kind of the information behind how this energy will affect you. That was 1861 through 1865. And what we see here is an internal battle. And what is the internal battle triggered by? I believe it's triggered by the full moon that we had. I think it was a full moon. Yes. The full moon that we had in Capricorn on the 29th of June, where you're starting to get revealed things that you didn't want to see. And it's not because you couldn't see them, but because you didn't want to see them. And not only that, we are also in Mercury retrograde that is literally stirring the pot and like making that knife go deeper into you, twisting it very nicely. So you have to address the problem. So wow, this is affecting my throat. There's definitely something, Leo, that you're not going to want to admit or say, but you're going to have to say it, okay? So this is June 7th. What do we have to tell them? Ooh, look at that. 2 flew out right away. Okay, we have the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is something that you've been juggling in your head. And we have the Ace of Cups. And for me, is feelings that you're going to be sharing with another person about a situation. And it's a lot of feelings. They're very deep feelings. And I'm saying that because there is the chalice and it's full, but it's being handed to the other one. And not only that, but the water is pouring, the blood from that chalice is pouring into the other person's hands, which tells me that when you express these feelings, when you express these emotions, and when you air this out, it's going to hurt people. It's going to cut deep. And this is work. And I feel like for some of you guys, it will be work related. It can be a situation where you're telling them, I'm not going to be able to work here anymore, whatever. But for other people, I feel like this is going to be work. When we deal with our emotions, when we start clearing them out, when we talk about them, when we express them or whatever, it's not like I just diarrhea out of my mouth the information. This is something you've been ruminating about and thinking about for a really long time. So when you express them, it means that now that you diarrheaed out of the mouth all the things that are bothering you, now you're going to have to do the work to get out of this cycle. Okay? 2 of Wands. Do you see how the 2 of Wands have 2 swiggly like branches, and one's going up and one's going down? And that's important because it looks like a road, right? And in this road, it feels like a splitting of connection. So one's going to go one way, the other one's going to go the other. Then we have the Valet of Goblets, which is the Page of Cups. It's important to say that. It's hard for me to like translate them, but anyways, do you see how this like creature, his tongue is moving and it's throwing blood inside the cup? The reason it's going to be work is because this is going to be a back and forth for a while. You see how it's splitting in 2 different directions? It's like one believes one thing, the other one believes one thing, and then they're going to be playing this catch and throw for a while about the emotions. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's because you're doing this. It's because of that. It's because of this other thing. No, it's because of this, because of this other thing. And then we have the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is because someone that's receiving the information is blocking the information. So I said this, oh, you guys, unless you know Spanish, it wouldn't help you, but the Spanish Taurus reading was all about this. Oh my gosh, I'm getting an old school Spanish song too. And the song is, let me tell you what the song is, because it's important for the message. It's from Vicente Fernandez, so it's a ranchera, and it says hermoso cariño. And it's like, I feel like this is a loved one. And that song Hermoso Cariño, wow, my lights are being all fucking weird all of a sudden. They're starting to flash. Hermoso Cariño from Vicente Fernandez is a song that he made when he had his first son. So for me, it's making me feel like this might be something of a parent dynamic, father son, mother daughter, parents to children. It feels like that. Um, so this is really deep seated. And what I can tell you is that because it's really deep seated, you're not going to be able to get out of this by yourself. You can have family groups and friend groups that help you, but the problem is that they're part of the problem. Let's say they're part of the situation, so they will have a biased belief system about the situation. They'll either be on your side or they'll be against you. And this is the reason why therapists, for example, can't see family members or can't see somebody that they have already an active relationship with. Why? Because you'll have a bias. And so I think that you need to go to a third party away from a situation also to help you kind of work this out, because it's ugly. And the bottom of the deck, we have, wow, the Five of Swords. This is a deep-seated wound. And we have the Four of Swords that has been, you've been swallowing it down and ignoring it for a really long time. Wow, I gotta say, this reading, as soon as I got to your reading, Leo, okay, as soon as I opened your reading, I can't talk. I'm starting to get hoarse and my throat's starting to bother me. So this is something that you have been choked up about, that you haven't been wanting to talk about, child. This is hard. And then we have the Knight of Goblets, and the Knight of Goblets is talking about this false love energy. It's look at, this is you carrying the weight of another person that pretends to love you, care about you, and whatever, but they actually love you, care about you, and everything, because you're their, they emotionally dump on you, and you've had to carry that. And we have the Star in reverse, and the Star in reverse, like, the Star in reverse literally is talking about you following and listening to this and all that kind of stuff, because you thought this was truth, this was your North Star, this was the point of navigation and direction for you. Like, this relationship personified and created a strong structure as to how you interpreted relationships, how you interpreted people's emotions, how you interpreted all that stuff. And right here with the Sun card, it's you getting, do you see how the head of the soldier is like right in his chest and not in his head? I don't see that, So it feels like, instead of listening with rational minds and stuff, because your rational mind had been distorted, you were listening with your heart. So you were overly empathic, you were overly caretaking, you were overly doing everything because of the fact that you were conditioned to be the healer of this situation and this dynamic. And then it caused you to pick more broken people in your life, broken friends that you were always taking care of and giving advice to, broken co-workers, and broken loved ones, like partners. And then you wondered why this was happening to you, why everybody was working against you, why you felt like there was so much load on top of you and you needed to take care of yourself. And it all started from the beginning. A person that made you feel from the beginning, and a survival mechanism that you created, okay, to survive, you learned that you needed to attend to this parental figure. This is heavy. This is very strong enmeshment. If you guys don't know what that is, There's a lot of psychological videos that have to do with that. But this is somebody that's going to need help to move forward from this dark place that they're in. And it's starting to be revealed these first couple of weeks of July. And then we get to July 14th, which is not any easier because July 14th is the energy of the new moon in Cancer. And not only is the new moon in Cancer, but Mercury retrograde is in Cancer. And I done told you that Mercury retrograde is a period of time where this Mercury retrograde specifically is addressing the things that are hidden, that you ignore, that you try to avoid dealing with. And it's coming to the forefront. And then to add fuel to the flame, we have the sun, which is Leo. Okay? The energy of the sun, creating a connection, like a conjunction, which is making friends with the Mercury. So amplifying that retrograde, amplifying more things that you don't say, that hurt you, that have been deep-seated inside of you, that you've been probably drinking down, eating down, gambling down, buying down. It doesn't matter how you do it. All that stuff is just coming out. So I want to see how it's going to affect you. And because this is relationship, I'm going to be using my relationship cards. Shut up, look, I divided it into karmic relationship. This is a karmic relationship. And you know, one of the hardest karmic relationships is the karmic relationships when you are born into the karmic relationship from another life being your parents and your sibling, because you can't really get away from them. And it says, fleeting triggers, turmoil, resentments, lessons, letting go, and loving you. This feels like boiling water, and the water is starting to overflow. This feels heavy, y'all. All right, tell me about this. Butterfly, relationship evolution. I mean, if I wanted a confirmation that this has to do with some strong relationships, like some anchored, fundamental relationships in your life, dude. And then it says, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. This is inner child wounding. This is what you felt like you didn't receive as a child that now you're blowing up about. Then we have Cupid's arrow. Have faith, love is coming, surprise, invitation or meeting, hesitation. And what I'm seeing here is a situation in which something is going to happen and you're going to be emotionally charged from it because you're not going to want it to happen. Like probably you're going to get together with people, probably because of this weekend, the 4th of July, you have to get together with these same people. And there is a very strong emotional charge on it. And you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. Look at, and then we have talking. And talking comes out interested, conversing more, awaiting messages, awaited messages arriving, texting, calling, emailing, and hovering. Now, hovering is a narcissistic pattern. And what I have to tell you about this narcissistic pattern is this. When you're in a relationship where a narcissist or a person that has emotional woundings that they don't address and they manipulate people regarding those emotional wounds, what happens is that once you're of use and value of them, they dote over you, they want all this stuff. Once they don't see an emotional use for you, they discard you. Then when they find a new emotional wound with use for you, they call you back by giving you a lot of love bombing and stuff. And there's this dynamic where it's kind of like gambling, right? You know how this is why people get addicted to gambling. You know, you put coins in there and it's that pulling of the thing and getting a few coins, a few monies back, right? Gets you addicted, and that's breadcrumbing to want to do it again. And so you keep putting the coins in there. And you're never going to get what you put in. But you keep playing this game because You're just hoping that that little hit is going to mean that everything is better. But these are things that are programmed. This is caused from programming. You were taught that this is how love is. I keep hearing alcoholism, so somebody really does have like an alcohol problem because of this situation. We have the high priestess, and we have the ace of pots, which is as ace of cups. And we have the nine of cups. Followed by the page of cups. You see how this is all feelings? And then we have the page of wands, and then we have the seven of wands. And this tells me that this is not, okay, this is not something that you're physically doing, right? You're not stirring the pot. This is not you trying to dig up old stuff. Is that intuitively speaking, and if you're in this channel, you have to believe in spirit too. Intuitively speaking, through dreams, through memories, like you're doing a memory replay, through all that kind of stuff, you're getting downloads. And these downloads have to do with all those emotions you've been hiding from the world and from yourself. And what's happening is that there was a part of you that wished to feel free. There was a part of you that wished to I don't know, have money, to have a good relationship, to feel safe. And that part of you that wished that provoked all this. And now you're getting the message, but because you're a page, you are feeling overwhelmed by this message. And it's creating a lashing out on your behalf that might be a little immature, but it's a little mature because you don't know how to process these emotions because they're probably from a long fucking time ago. And right now, I'm feeling this energy of you're trying to block it. And then during this moon, you're going to try to block it. What's going to happen to you if you try to block it? Let's find out, because that's important. We have the Ace of Junk, which is, so the Ace of Junk is the Ace of Pentacles. With the Three of Wands. With the Five of Cups. With the Page of Feathers, which is the Page of Swords, with the Five of Swords, with the Wheel of Fortune. And this is a really important Wheel of Fortune because you see how it's all arrows going all directions, not knowing where to go. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is that this situation is not one that you can ignore. They will continue. When I'm saying they, I'm talking about Gus. Let's talk about Gus. God for some of you. Universe for others of you. Higher self for others of you. It doesn't matter. Okay? Just call it Gus. Gus is going to keep poking this bear because the Ace of Pentacles literally is saying more. You're just going to keep receiving more downloads and more downloads because they're going to keep doing that until you look at this as your ship coming in and your opportunity coming so that you can address the wounds that you're carrying so that you can accept the opportunities that are around you. Five of the Page of Swords, it's kind of like then that creates like this internal battle inside your head where your mouth is going to diarrhea out of its mouth all the things that you've been holding back. And the Five of Swords, what you're going to be talking about is all the wounds that you're carrying. And that's going to create like this, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. Because when I got that Wheel of Fortune, all I thought was a chicken with my head cut off. So keep that in mind. I feel like the more you ignore something, the more power you're giving to that thing that you're trying to ignore. Once you address the conflict can be helped to move forward. Your body will absolutely not allow you to ignore this that is coming through, Leo. And this is really big for you guys, because you guys, the big ego, and the grandiosity that is inside of you, it can also turn really dark. And Leo right now is in Jupiter, so it's expanding that flame inside of you that makes you feel larger than life. And that means it's going to also ignite more of that flame inside of you, and you will be the lion fighting against something that you're probably not even aware of. So then the last thing that we're going to be looking into is July 26th. July 26th, Saturn goes in retrograde in Aries. This is calling back that reset that we got on the 20th of February. Okay. This is karma paying out, but this is also, that faking it till you make it, where people are pretending to be something that they're not, like they're pretending to be healed, like they're pretending something doesn't bother them. They're pretending to be rich. They're pretending to be spiritual. They're pretending to be whatever it is that they're trying to be. That's going to be pulled out. And they're going to have to pay out everything they got from a lie. And then from that, we have for 18 months this big shift in our nodes. And that's important, because the node goes from the north node being in Pisces, the old world, to the north node being in Aquarius, amplifying the energy of Pluto in Aquarius, making more of the underlying subconscious BS coming to light. Then the south node is going from Virgo, making you kind of overanalyze and materialistic, to Leo, which Leo right now is also in Jupiter expansion, which is that lion coming out. And if it's a lion that is healthy, it will shine, it will be strong, it will be all kinds of stuff. But if it's not, it's going to go for the jugular. So let's see where this is going to affect my Leo collective. The iceberg. This is going deep. That energy is going to go deep. And like I said, we're going to be going through this process till December. I'm not saying all you guys will suffer till December, this upheaval of all this energy, but there are things that will be taking place till then. And I'm not saying it's going to stop at December, because depending on where you are in your path, it might last longer. Shut up. You're getting the message. Hold on one second. Look at that. You're getting the message. You're getting more mail, more downloads. You're going even deeper. Because it's time for you to get out of this cocoon that you've created. And the cocoon that you've created is probably, the cocoon that you can create is probably overworking, because people disassociate working a lot, taking up a lot of extra hours at work, cleaning, drinking, some kind of abuse of some kind of narcotic or whatever. It can be gambling. It can be shopping. It can be sex. Whatever strange, smoking, whatever strange coping skill you have is there. And they want you out of that. And they want you to break through this cement wall that is created so that you can flourish. And we have a geisha in reverse. And a geisha in reverse is kind of that energy where they're telling you to stop prostituting yourself. And this is very important to tell you. I'm not telling you you're going around touring all kinds of people. No. But there's physical prostitution, and then there's spiritual prostitution, where you actively give anybody your energy. You actively render your power to other people. They want you to stop doing that. And so this is a help, but it's that tough love energy. This is Gus's tough love energy. This is like literally getting your ass handed to you. And we have the focal. How do you say focal? Light bulb. It's a light bulb moment for you to wake up, to realize, and to stop playing everybody else's game. It's so that you can take control. It's so that a Leo can actually be a Leo. You can't run away The more you run away, the more you give it power. Knight of Cups starts out this whole thing, and that's important because I'm talking about somebody increasing their EQ, their emotional intelligence. It's a person no longer being driven by their emotions, being their emotions puppets and saying the emotion. I acknowledge the fact, and that's the energy of Pisces. A lot of people believe that they were magicians and they had special powers and they have abilities because they're manifesting through the energy of Pisces. And the energy of Pisces is that you're using your somatic energy, the energy of your emotions and your traumas and your triggers to dictate how you interpret information, and you can create a separate voice from it and a separate thing from it, kind of like if a guide is telling you, but what is talking to you is your physical body telling you we're going to avoid living that same experience. So then it gives you bad information for you to avoid situations just so you can avoid pain. And that is the same as being narcissistic. And I believe that all of us have narcissistic tendencies, and that's what's important for us to know about narcissism, because not about all of us are malignant narcissists. There's many different types. Malignant narcissists are like psychopathic. I'm first. I give two shits if this kills me and kills you in the process, but I am going to win. One of those things. That's not everybody. Okay, I want to control, I want to possess, I want to subjugate a whole mess of people. That's not everybody. That's not all the narcissists. Some of them are very much living on survival mode. People doing whatever they need to do just so they don't have to have pain again. And if your your object, like the goal that you have, is to avoid pain, then you will close doors to opportunities of growth, expansion, and whatever, because you don't think you want to suffer through them. This is like you winning an award, and instead of using the money for the award, you give it away to other people because you're thinking, if I use it myself, I'm going to end up hurting myself. Or every good thing that happens to me, if I keep it myself, like then something bad's going to happen to me, because always something bad happens to me after I do something good. So you give away your good. And then you're bitter that you do it. And this is you wrestling your own internal demon. Knight of Pentacles. And this is something that's going to take a long while. And this is why people don't like healing, because it's not quick. It's not the same as drinking a shot, ignoring yourself with friend groups, working a home mess. It's not instant. And then we have the Seven of Swords. It's literally the long road to stop all the lies you give yourself. Then we have the Knight of Swords, and literally stop running your mouth, because you say things that hurt people because you're hurt, right? And or what people say to you, and this is important, what people say to you hurts you so deep, and then you become offended, and then you feel hurt, and then you go through this cycle of I hate myself, I mess up everything is bad, because of the same, because words hurt you deep. You're worse to yourself than what other people say. Two of Cups is they're asking you to come together with yourself. I know the Two of Cups usually is talking about a union with the second person, but I feel like it's a union with yourself. I feel like you've been your worst enemy, Leo, because though you said you're running away from all these people and all this stuff and you're fine, every single time you accept a path that is not yours and that you move away from something that is yours, every single time you do that, then what happens is that you're your worst enemy. Then two things come up here, and one is the Five of Swords in reverse, and the Emperor in reverse. And this is if you stop feeling scared of the tyrant. And the tyrant, your boogeyman depends on you. You've had very, very strange experiences in your life, right? Everybody's had different kinds of experience in your life, but every single one of us have the boogeyman. And we gave it a name, and we know who they are, and we can call them a parent, we can call them a friend, we can call them that person that abused us. It doesn't matter what it is. But we give them their power. We give them our power when we allow ourselves to become what they wanted us to become. Bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups, followed by the Hangman. That means that you're going to have a long period of time where the celebration is kind of over, because you're going to have a period of time where you're trying to get the swords out of your own back, right? And you're having that pain, Three of Swords, because it's time for you to start really taking note, and with the Seven of Pentacles, of all the investments you take and you've done, and all the things you've done, and the truth behind them. Again, I repeat, you might feel that all the decisions that you have made were your free will, you taking your power, you doing what you're supposed to be doing, but many of them have been fear responses that you learned from how you grew up. And some of them is turning off your emotions, and some of them is fighting, and some of them is some kind of maladapted um, healing, right? And you've shot yourself in your own foot way too many times, holding yourself back from very positive things because of the fact that you had these pains. So I think July, and this is like the same energy I felt for the Spanish reading, but I think July will be heavy. And I hope you don't drown yourself out, and you actually seek help, and you actually seek like groups, organizations, people, places, things, or whatever, something outside of what you've already done, because the same shit's not going to help you to break this pattern. So I hope this helps. Be the lion.